Guys, thank you for joining me today. Thank you for clicking on this video. My name is Noah, and we're going to talk about some real shit. I'm looking forward to it. Last week, I posted a video asking you guys to help me. I needed you guys to help drive the conversation on this channel. Give me questions, give me a topic, give me something, and I would pick the top 10, make 10 videos based on your guys' feedback. 209 comments were left on my last video, and I said I will pick the top 10, and the top number one is no surprise. It's a question about my drinking and about my marriage with my wife. So we're going to deep dive this a bit. And my prayer is to be fluid with my thoughts, be candid with you guys. And this is a toughie. When it comes to her and it comes to my drinking, it comes to the history on this channel. Coffee with Poet. Let's see if I can give her a little love. There she is right there. Coffee with Poet dropped a huge topic with a lot of questions. 50 likes on her post. So this is what this is what my community, this is what you guys are curious about. So let's get into it. How does your wife manage your dependence on alcohol? That's a funny choice of word, manage your dependence. So she doesn't manage it. She doesn't try to manage it anymore. I think there have been two paths we've taken with this. One was that if I was sober, I was in trouble, and she needed to drop everything and stop what she was doing, and we needed to fix Noah. We needed to fix Noah because I was in relapse and I was doomed or whatever. And I got her feedback on this, which I really appreciate. Before, it's like her world would freeze. I became very selfish in my drinking, and she became overly selfless and not selfish enough with her own needs in my drinking. And it was one of those things that she couldn't manage, but she kind of tried, right? Like, how do I help? What do I do? And it ended up suffocating her, and it created massive stress for her and poor communication between the two of us. And I could go into a lot of rabbit holes there, but the point being, right now, she doesn't try to manage a thing. She doesn't try to manage a thing. She's very much, and this is coming from her, and it's been really interesting to see for me, she's very much taking back her independence and her individuality and separating herself from this part of me in terms of being some sort of authoritative figure, some sort of looking over your shoulder figure, some sort of person that I might need to hide from or minimize to or potentially manipulate for whatever reason or lie to or feel like I couldn't be honest. And that I always have the opportunity to be honest, but we had a dynamic before where it's like, fuck, if I'm in relapse mode, she kind of already knows what's going on, but now I have to be a little more sneaky, and that created a emotional void between the two of us. And then there just was a lot of bullshit on my end, and then a lot of keeping quiet from her, and it didn't work. She's not trying to manage it. She's focusing on herself, and she's just trying to give me space to be honest with her. We've come into this new phase of our love and our marriage and our relationship where it's like, listen, if you're going to be drinking right now, let's keep you safe and let's not fuck around. Let's not bullshit. Like, don't lie, don't sneak, don't hide. Be willing to talk to me. I'm going to continue to chat with you, and I love you and I got your back, but we can't do this like we've been doing it. The rigmarole of the previous style of dealing with me in a drinking space. Next part of the question says, how has the ups and downs affected your marriage? So I feel like I kind of just addressed that, but it's been tough on the marriage, more so in the past than it seems to be right now. But it's been tough on the marriage because when Jessie met me, I was sober, and that's who she initially fell for. And then we went through the ups and downs of me drinking and my childish behavior and my immature outlook on the world, especially in my early 20s. And, it was like we were trying to grow up together, so to speak, but in two different versions of me, with two different versions of me. So historically, if I was sober, everything was great, and I was super outspoken about being sober, and I was hyper proud, and if I was drinking, I was down, and I just kind of like took on this persona of just being this hopeless, dreary alcoholic, and that was always really hard. And she didn't know what she was getting into when she fell in love with me, and I didn't know what I was. I mean, this is life. I feel like, to quote my dad, none of us really have a fucking clue what we're doing. We're just trying to figure this out, figure out who we are. But I didn't know the burden it would put on her to go from being a drinker to a not drinker. I always thought I would get sober and it would stick. I always thought I would stay, so I had confidence in that, and it hasn't been my experience as of right now. Prior to this last relapse, let's say, it's always gone a certain way, and it's been tough on us, and it's been tough on our marriage. And then what we discovered this last time, which is, I give her all the credit, I really do, is that she, we want to stay close no matter what. And we realized that communication was one of the biggest things that changed before. Being genuinely honest and being loving no matter what. I mean, we've always been loving, but it's like, she wanted to like level with me as a person, as a friend. Like, hey, you're my best friend. Like, this could be coming from her. Let's just be real with me. Like, I love you anyway. You're safe. I'm not gonna go anywhere. I'm not gonna disappear on you. Be honest with me. And maybe that's what I'm trying to say, is like, she came to me this last time, and I never heard her say this, and it was so disarming, and it was so wonderful. She realized within herself that I was her person, and she truly realized that she was going to ride it out with me no matter what, for better or worse, and that if I was drinking, she was going to love me, and we were going to figure out how to negotiate our relationship with me as a drinker. If I was sober, she was going to love me, and we will renegotiate what that looks like, and we wouldn't see it as good or bad. We would just see it as my life experience, with the understanding that we would always still try to be our best selves, and we'll always still try to improve, and I'm always going to seek to do better and be more for her and for myself, and she'll do the same. But there was no longer this line in the sand between us, and she needed me to know that, and I was brought to tears because she never really worded it that way, and I always felt like, oh, if I drink, eventually she's going to leave, and I don't want to be hasty and act like she's just sitting here getting tortured, and that she'll just, be tortured forever, and like this is some miserable experience. It's not like that. I just mean, I don't know what it's like to be married to someone who has a dependence on alcohol, but as the person who has the issue with the drinking, I definitely have been able to see how it's been hard on her, and to the best of my ability. And so I think as like a survival mechanism, and then this new reality for her, she just knows she wants to be with me no matter what, and that I'm her person, and she loves me no matter what. And so with that, she wanted us to establish a new way of communicating that was purely honest. No more bullshit, no more sneaking, no more lying. Just be exactly who you are. Let me know who you are at all times, and I'm going to keep loving you and keep encouraging you to be better. And then she was like, I'm going to work on me. I'm going to fucking work on me. So I know I'm all over the place, and I'm probably being repetitive, but I've never really tried to talk about this before. This is the first time. So I'm figuring this out with you, I think. I hope. Next part of the question: what keeps her with you? I think we have an incredible love for one another. We're very good together. We're very, very supportive. What keeps her with me is just that I make her feel beautiful. I make her feel loved and respected. I make her feel wanted. I make her feel capable. I empower her with all my might. I'm always encouraging her. I'm always supportive. I never talk down to her. She feels the love I have for her, and she knows it's something special, and I believe it is, and I know the love she has for me is special. And I kind of feel like we, at the end of the day, kind of lately in particular, we're just like, listen, love is going to conquer this thing. We're gonna stick together no matter what. It's been really awesome. I mean, I think I'm a badass. I think I'm a great guy. I really do. I think I'm not without issues, not without my own stuff for sure, but I do believe that I'm a wonderful partner, and I could be even better. And I don't want to make excuses, but I don't want to deny that I have tremendous self-love. And I think that allows me to love her very gently. I make her laugh. That's what she said today. She's like, I stay with you because you're funny. You make me laugh. And we laugh a lot. How does she keep her mental and physical health in place as she watches you struggle? So before, I feel like that's a great question. And I feel like I might just be re-saying the same things, but before, it's like she wouldn't really focus much on herself. She would focus too much on me, and I very much believe I had the most to do with that, because I created such a spectacle out of my drinking, and I played like a victim in a lot of ways, subconsciously and maybe a little bit consciously. It's like I waved that white flag, I need help thing so hard, so many times, in some pretty unproductive and fucked up ways now that I look back. We're just like, the world had to stop. And it wasn't good. I don't know where we developed that, but what's been different and how she's been keeping her mental health and her physical health this time around is that she's just, like I said earlier, I think she's separating herself from it. Like, she's going to work on her. She's going to work on her, and she's not going to, I mean, we're really very much assuming our own individual lives as partners as opposed to two people living one life. We're like, no, she's going to live her life. She's going to pursue her dreams, her wellness, her physical health, her goals, no matter what I do. And it's been really cool to see, because it's created a more confident version of her, a way more resilient version of her, and it's created a much more calm and civil, we've always been civil, but just a calm space of our relationship to just like be where we are, right where we are, and not be apologizing for it, not be trying to explain it all the time. It's been good. It's made us, I mean, I feel extraordinarily close to her right now in the midst of still being drinking, right? And that's never been the case before. And we both acknowledged that, and we both felt that. So she's managing it by no longer stopping, keeping the world turning no matter what I do, and taking extreme ownership over her own choices and her own life and her own happiness, and really re-embracing that sense of self and that responsibility she feels within herself to be happy. And maybe that's something that we kind of had backwards before. It was like, maybe we leaned on one another a little too much, like make the other person happy, make me whole. And I don't think we do that much anymore. And then of course, consequently, we feel more whole and more assertive in our relationship. It's a great question. I'm wondering if you would share why you think your wife has stayed. I feel like my wife is dangerously in love with me, and I want to explain what I mean when I say that. The danger in loving me the way she does is that if I misplace, if I abuse that love, if I manipulate that love, she might go through things that she shouldn't have to. No domestic violence or abuse, verbal or physical, no infidelity, I think that's the right word. I've never cheated or messed around, nothing like that. She's never been anything like that, but sometimes there's just like this been misused trust for, like, if she commits to me and she gives her life to me, then I'm not going to do things that hurt her. And I have with the drinking thing. I really have. And that's been tough it's been tough. And I've had to forgive myself for that. And that's why I think the way we've established the new path, right, to finding a stability in my life. And then of course I always aim and bank on being a sober man. I always end up thinking that's going to be my end. I think that'll be where I end up. But yeah, she loves ferociously. And I think she believes one way or another her life is better with me than without me, no matter what. And I believe my life is better with her than without her, no matter what. And I do believe that her life is better with me than without me, no matter what. I believe that about our bond. I believe that about our love. But there's been some tears, and there's been, I mean, it's not all rainbows and butterflies, but it's been pretty great. It's been pretty great, even amidst like the chaos, I think. And you know what, I gotta say, I don't want this to be misconstrued. I don't know how many of you people are still here, but if you are, in the comment section below, in all caps, put here, HERE, put here. That lets me know you made it this far. I don't want you guys to misunderstand me about Jessie in terms of her co-signing alcoholic behavior, binge drinking, lack of productivity, which has impacted me a lot, and we'll talk about that in a future video, because one of the next ones is like talk about your relapse. But those are still in my health, right? Those are major concerns for her. She said it just the other night. She's like, it worries me when you drink 3 days in a row. I worry about your health. I worry about your productivity. I worry about your mental health. I worry about your dependence. Don't misunderstand. She's not sitting here clapping and cheering for dangerous behavior, for behavior that is impactful to my health and my well-being, and certainly my ability to be an equal provider for our family and our life and our home. And we talk about that, and that is one of the cool things that's been going on right now for us, is like, we're talking about these things. We're having real conversations about it. She's a sharp girl, and she's real with me all the time, but it's just in a very loving, supportive, kind way. I want to be the best person I can be for her. I want to be healthy. And I think I know I can do better. And I know drinking and addiction, it's tricky stuff. It's tricky stuff. So it's weird having to like, be accountable to myself, but also like gentle with myself. It's an interesting battle that if you've ever danced with the devil, so to speak, you'd understand. Something I've had to give myself permission on this channel again to do is just to be exactly where I'm at no matter what. And I always envisioned, I think I put too much pressure on myself to have all the stuff sorted out by now. And I don't. I'm doing the best I can with where I'm at right now. And so I hope you're gentle with yourself like I'm trying to be with myself, and you're just continuing to learn, you're continuing to have good discussions. Find someone you can be transparent with. It really helps. To my wife, she won't see this, but baby, I love you, and thank you for being a safe space for me and letting me just be totally naked with you in terms of thought and feeling and experience. Also, just regular naked. But I really like that expression. We'll end it there. Someone said it's incredibly powerful and incredibly helpful if there's someone in life you can truly get naked with, in the sense that you don't have to misdirect, you don't have to fool, you don't have to impress, you don't have to convince, you don't have to explain. You can just truly be. And I've been able to truly be myself with my wife in a way that I've never been before these last few months. And we've always been like extremely close, but it somehow hit a new level of and I'm so lucky for that. So wishing you guys the very best. Thank you for still being here and taking me for who I am. We've got 9 more videos to do. I want to try to get these out as fast as I can. Good talk.